Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Vanilla Plus. My name is Rysyn, and here we are again in the bowels of the machine. Let's take a tour, shall we? So, as you can see, stuff is moving around. Basically, down this long hallway are the inputs for the beetroot, and off to the right, once you hit that end, is the wheat. So basically anything that gets picked up just gets spit into this water stream, comes along here, and comes down this way. And then this is the drop-off point for the potatoes and carrots. Same idea. Dropped into the water stream. They join up right here. And off to be sorted. So this is the sorting. We've got, let's see, I don't remember the order. Wheat, beets, bone meal, which I'll explain in a second, potatoes, and carrots. And now I have to get back up. So anything that doesn't get filtered right now is just going into this chest. There's really no reason for anything to end up in there at the moment unless I accidentally drop something into the system. And now I need to jump back down. So right now the only one that I have like completed is the bone meal. So all of these have basically a destination. So this is all the wheat that's been sorted so far. So any wheat that comes through will come down into this chest. Once this hopper fills up, it'll start being pushed into a composter. Any bone meal that comes out of this gets dropped into this stream here, which connects up to this water column. This is the same spot that the potatoes and carrots join in. So this stream here, this is that same column. So anything that gets composted, oh, there goes one now. That bone meal is going to go up and run back through this sorting system. And so they all have that functionality where they have a storage with an overflow. Overflow goes to bone meal. Bone meal gets sorted. And this is the bone meal overflow here. This comes over, and if the bone meal ever overflows, destroyed on a cactus. So, and I've got the same setup on this side for the potatoes and carrots. Same idea. Compost turns to bone meal, sorted through the system. If it's ever full, destroyed. So right now the bone meal is set up to a shulker box loader. It is so tough moving around in here. So right now I don't have any shulker boxes. If I did, it would be filling them up with the bone meal. Oh, looks like we're already trashing bone meal, which is fine because I'm not in desperate need of it or anything, so no big deal. But yeah, shulker box loader. Once it's full, it'll drop down into this water stream. And I have not finished setting this up yet, but there's going to be a bubble column here that takes it up. All 5 of these are going to eventually be hooked up to the shulker box loaders. And when it comes up, this will be the water stream here. It'll come up. It'll flow over onto this hopper here into this What are you? A dropper, dropper, and I can't remember. I want to say that the... yeah, I'll just break this and look. So, okay, so they're all 3 droppers. But basically, anything comes into this, sends this signal. Let's see. How did I figure this out? The initial signal turns this on, which sends a pulse into this dropper, which also powers this dropper, sending it up. That then turns this off, sending a second pulse, which again powers this block. And I think because this block is directly powered, it takes priority, spits its item up into here. This dropper is also being powered indirectly by this one, and it's very consistent. It's always taken any item that ends up in here and sends it all the way to the top. It never gets stuck, and the only thing that I can think is because this is being directly powered on that second pulse. So that is that system. I just have to finish hooking up all of these water streams here, or bubble columns, and all of the shulker box loaders. And once that's done, this project is pretty much complete. Everything, like I said, goes up. And right now, this is that block that I was just standing under. So nothing comes up here yet. But once I get those shulker boxes into the system, that'll be good to go. And this is just back stock from what was running before. So yeah, I mean, this is just about done. I just have to get that last little bit of redstone all hooked up. So in the last episode, I had mentioned wanting to get a bunch of projects done, and this is one of them. I think last time I had shown anything about it, there was completely empty inside, and that has changed. We are now up and running with melons and pumpkins, and I can show you what's going on here. Basically, I've just got all these layers. This level is the only one, I think, that needed a light source. So unfortunately that took out one of the spots for the... I don't remember if this is a pumpkin layer or a melon layer. But it took out one of the spots to grow, but that's alright. No big deal. So we've just got the observers and pistons. And yeah, that's... So every layer is pretty much the same. It's kind of cool, actually, how this ended up working out. The lights that are part of the exterior design are enough on most of these levels to illuminate the farm as much as it needs. So that's pretty awesome. And yeah, same up here. This glowstone. This one I thought I needed a light source, but because it's farmland, that little sliver lets that light in. So, pretty cool. And then just a little bit of empty space up the top here. I've got, if I remember correctly, 4 levels of melons and 2 levels of pumpkins. And that works out to roughly what you're seeing here. If I craft these all up, I believe it'll have about the same amount of melons and pumpkins. So let's try that real quick. And look at that. Pretty close. So I'd say that's a good balance. So I just need to hook up, again, a similar system where there's a shulker box loader for the pumpkins. And then for the melons, I'm actually going to have, I think, a split system where it'll fill up probably just a single chest of melon slices that will be like available for grabbing. And then the rest will go into some sort of crafting system where basically what I want is to hit a button and a ton of melon slices shower down so that I can craft them into the blocks, and then they get picked up again and then put into their own shulker box loading system. So that I don't have quite ironed out for now. I mean, I'm considering this good enough. So, I mean, I'm pretty much set on the projects that I wanted to get done in the last episode. One other thing I wanted to check out was this farm here. I wanted to see what one stack of bone meal runs through the farm and then composted ends up as. And I did it one time so far, and this is what I got. I got 5 extra bone meal. So technically I could use it to feed itself for infinite bone meal, but I get the feeling that it's gonna be not as efficient as some of the designs that are actually made for that purpose. So I'll revisit that at some point. For now, if I need moss, I can get it. Same for seeds and the moss carpets, all that stuff. As for the sheep farm, it's working. It's been running for a little bit. Actually, that's disappointing. I checked, I think the light blue. No, light blue wasn't high. Which one was this one, cyan? It's pumping out the wool. So that's all good. I don't know if I even ever showed the original redstone, but I had to come back down and rework it so that regardless of which side activates, I wanted it to run both minecarts. So I had to connect the 2 sides up. And I was actually able to get rid of the target blocks. So those have made it back into my redstone box. And instead of worrying about the outside of that tower, still need those frog lights, I want to take a slightly different project on right now. And it's something you can see behind me. I'm going to go take a closer look, but we're going to have to move it in order for some peace and quiet. It is the maps. So I started mapping out my display wall maps. I plan on finding a home for these at some point. So far I've only completed the 1, but something that as I was revealing, hold on, these guys are too noisy. Let me move this. I'll be right back. All right, now that we've got some peace and quiet, I don't fully remember where I was at, so I'm just going to start from the beginning and cut the footage if I need to. I was exploring this map, and as you remember, I already made the change where, let's see, we're standing about right here. I'm surprised this doesn't display. Let's see, 3 mushrooms. Yeah, I'm surprised that doesn't display on the map. We're right next to the middle one. Yeah, kind of between the first and second ones. So we're standing like right here. And I guess it's because it's only 1 block wide and these are the second level of map. but normally there would be a green icon that shows up there. I've already changed that. And I realized that, you know, I can actually change all of the other markers as well. So like one example is this this red X that shows up on treasure maps, buried treasure map, as you can see. So that icon, I do have the option of altering that symbol. And something, let's see, what am I? Okay, so yeah, I still have the default one, I think, set up, or at least everything's default with the exception of removing that marker. So if I take this and I put a marker on it, it's just the banner marker. I can add text by renaming the banner, but yeah, overall it's kind of plain. I'm not a big fan of the design, we'll say, of that. And for this map, I don't know, it's kind of boring. I feel like if I put any text on it to kind of like point out any locations of interest, it's just gonna get all cluttered with a bunch of text boxes, and that's just not gonna look pretty. So I've started working on a solution to that. And we can go into resource packs, get rid of that one, and reload. And now we have a different icon. So I was able to grab as an example, I grabbed the image that is on the, I think it's called an Ocean Explorer map. It has its own icon on the maps file. So I just grabbed that and I put it in place of the cyan banner. So now if I want to mark any of the, what are they called, ocean monuments, I can just put a banner at the location, hit it with the map, and now it's going to show up on here. And I just think once I get this all filled up with all the different like interesting locations, like villages, there were like 3 villages that I found over here somewhere. I don't remember exactly where they're at, but I don't want to put a banner marker at each one. I think it'd be really cool to just have like a little house icon that, you know, represents a village. So I've gone ahead and created a list of a whole bunch that I want to do. But in addition to being able to change the banners, I actually have an option to increase the resolution as well. So you see this icon is a little bit more detailed. I'm not a pixel artist. This is just a slightly modified version of the original. But I think I can do a little bit better than this. So I'm going to give it another shot as I'm working on all the other ones. But I just think that looks pretty cool. It makes it stand out, in my opinion, just a little bit more, just because of the pixel sizes on the map. So I guess I can get really close here. You can see the map has this pixel size here, and this is just double that. So for every 1 pixel of map, we get 2 pixels of icon. And what I was thinking of doing is actually just leaving the 3 that come on these special maps. There's the X for the buried treasure maps, the ocean monument for Ocean Explorer maps, and then there's the other one, the Woodland Mansion. I don't know what that map is called, but there's an icon for that as well. So I think I'm just going to replace all of the banners with my own custom icons for me to use as I explore. So we'll be able to see like villages, pillager outposts, woodland mansions. I think I have a couple set aside for like buried treasures. So like I like to keep track of which ones that I've already found, but keeping these maps is not very organized way to do that. If I can just put my own X at every location that I have found a buried treasure, I think that'd be so cool. Like we'd be able to see, you know, oh, I found like 4 along this coastline, and you know, so unfortunately I don't think I'm going to have that ready this episode. At the moment I just have this one icon that I've changed. I think. Yeah, I haven't finished any of the other ones. But yeah, so I'm just going to make a bunch of different icons for all of the different locations, and this map will actually be really super interesting because it'll show like all the different stuff. Like instead of just a couple brown pixels, there's going to be a little village house there. Instead of, let's see, where was it? I think it was, let's see, I think this was the pillager outpost. So that would, you know, show up as more than just a brown dot. And then this gray pixel, I think, was a ruined portal. I think that's one of the ones that I have given a banner as well. So there will be things like shipwrecks, ocean monuments, buried treasures, villages, pillager outposts, witch huts, like all sorts of cool stuff. Ancient cities, when I finally figure out where to look for those. But yeah, I just think it'll be a really cool map in the end once I've done that. And I do still have the option of adding text underneath any of those. So I'm looking forward to finishing that. But it is going to take me a little bit to design the pixel art. Until then, though, let's talk about this again. Right now, I think that the build looks great. Landing on scaffolding is so hard. Okay. So I think the building looks great. Obviously, it's not finished. So we need frog lights. Well, I have started working on a simple frog light farm. Let's take a look. So out of my portal, let's see, I think there's a safe spot to sit right down here. At least safer. So I've cleared out a decent area, or at least somewhat leveled out a decent area of the delta down here. And as you can see, I've got an iron golem sitting there. Looks like he can get hurt right now, which I need to fix. No. The gas making me look bad. I said this was a safe spot. He's probably too far, right? Heyo. Alright. Before we were so rudely interrupted. So yeah, I've got this iron golem. He's attracting all the magma cubes. I just need to set up a little chamber down there and get some frogs in, and we've basically got a somewhat productive frog light farm. So I think I'm going to work on that. I'm also seeing a bunch of experience. I think I'm gonna go grab that. Progress is being made. So actually quite a while ago, I went and got a couple of tadpoles from a swamp. Do I have the maps? I do. Nice. So there's a swamp. This is the initial island that I was living on back near spawn. And I think it was right in this area. There's a swamp. So I picked up some tadpoles over there, like I said, quite a while ago. And then I just recently made a trip to get a bunch of powdered snow that I picked up. I think it was like right in this area here. And there was more to get if I need it. So that's all good there. And then these are the two frogs that I'm going to take because these are the two colors I need to finish that up. I even got a nice little surprise in the nether. I started digging out underneath the iron golem here. Let's just hop down and take a peek. I started digging out and bam, surprise, ancient debris. So that's awesome because that's the first piece I've found in this world. I'll dig that up here in a minute. Before I do though, I will admit I did kind of put my focus into the maps thing. So I'm going to wrap up the episode with the reveal of this instead of the reveal of the completed tower. I will definitely finish the tower in the next video, but I want to get you guys a good look at what I've been up to here. Take a look at these. So one thing that I actually kind of just figured out is these are mirrored like left to right from the way that I was actually designing them. It's not a problem for some of them. For others, I don't know, for some reason I like the ship being the other way around. And then the only other time that I think it really matters is on some of these I actually have like directional shading where like the light source is supposed to be coming from the top left, and that's just a personal preference that I've had. So like on this one you can see the lighting is coming from the top right, so I might have to flip those around. But yeah, this is what I have so far. Let me kind of take you through. Hopefully you can see well enough. So I did leave the treasure map, buried treasure map marker alone. That's the default. And then I just made a more high-res version of it here. We've got a desert temple. I really like the way that one turned out. I did a second pass at the ocean monument. This is obviously a pillager outpost. We've got a, it's kind of hard to get closer, another fortress. I'm not a huge fan. I definitely need to make another pass at that one. Woodland mansion here. I might try to fix that one up a little bit. There's certain things I like and certain things I don't. It's hard to get a lot of detail given that those things are, you know, it's such a big structure. The shipwreck, I might remove the outline. I'm not liking what I'm seeing there. I made the white banner since it is staying a banner. It's not the greatest. I think I need to shorten it slightly. Maybe lengthen the post a little bit. I really like the way that the ancient city turned out. I just wish I had enough room to give it an outline to make it stand out a little bit more. So I might play around with that one slightly for like shading. I just used the standard like Eye of Ender icon. I'm going to use that for strongholds. Ruined Nether Portal. This one really hides. Like it doesn't stand out on this one here, and I'm not a big fan of how it turned out anyways, so I'll make a second pass at that. Jungle Temple. I can't decide if I like the outline or not. I think I need to see it sitting in an actual jungle. And yeah, I think for now that's all of them. Obviously there's a few that I still haven't done. But yeah, a lot more progress than I thought I was going to make on this, and some of them I think have turned out amazing. Like I said, I love the Desert Temple one. One thing I'm a little bit concerned though is if I put it on a desert map, it might not stand out like at all. And I don't have the ability to make it any wider with an outline unless I like lose some of this inside area. So I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. But for now, thank you guys for watching. I really had a blast working on some of this stuff, and am looking forward to finishing that Froglight farm for the next episode, because I am so ready for that tower to be done. Anyways, thanks again. Have a great day. See you next time.